Next, we will visit with a man who is the perfect example of the new breed of owners in professional sports. A self-made millionaire, he is a star, as famous as the star athletes who play on his teams. He is the charming Dr. Jerry Buss.
I think the press likes to take certain people and quote them. Ted Turner's in Atlanta. He's not in Hollywood, but certainly he's well known. George Steinbrenner is in New York, but he's a controversial owner as well. Recently, Angelo Drossos from San Antonio is getting a lot of press because he did something controversial in a bonus program. I think the answer is that it doesn't matter that much what city you're in. It depends on how you handle the franchise, and if that gives the press something to write about, they're going to write about it, and you gain the fame that way.
Well, what kind of an incentive program do you have for the Kings?
We have actually two programs. At the beginning of the year, I told them that I wanted them to become a family. We wanted to learn to play together. Hockey is has a lot of teamwork that's necessary. And I felt that if we had a common goal, that it would help the team. So I provided a bonus trip to Hawaii if we score a certain number of points. See, one of the reasons for that is if you take someone like a Marcel Dion who makes $500,000 and he's playing side by side with someone who makes $75,000, sometimes it's difficult for those two to relate. But if they both get the same bonus, that is a trip to Hawaii, then suddenly they say, let's work for this together. That's right.
Well then, Jerry, it seems to me that it's not just for the money.
No, the money can't be considered important. You're talking about people who make a minimum of $2,000 a week, all the way up to $20,000 a week. So the point is, when you make that kind of money, a free round trip to Hawaii is not very significant. It's something that's just kind of fun. It's like a gentleman's bet, if you will. Somehow, if you go to a football game and you bet $5 on it or something, it always takes on a little bit more excitement. And this is that kind of thing. It's not intended to augment their economic position at all.
People are always talking to you about the women in your life. The press is always asking you questions about the women in your life. How do you feel about all those questions?
Well, I suppose that what originally was probably a small issue in my life, a small photographic album with some attractive young ladies' pictures therein, is constantly multiplied by the press until it becomes legend. And by this time, I don't even recognize the accounts of it myself. So I think most people who interview you or write a story about you always read everything about you in the past. And so in that this was a major paragraph in the previous article, everybody assumes, well, it should also be in my article. This is important. And it continues to perpetuate, and everybody embellishes and adds a little bit to it each time until, as I say, I think by this time it's approaching legendary proportions.
There's probably nothing more to add, huh?
I don't think so about that, really.
Did you ever have a dream of becoming a professional athlete yourself?
Not really. I mean, everybody, I think, in high school is introduced to competitive sports on some level. I suspect if I had worked at it, I might have been good enough to play in a small college, but certainly never pro or probably even a major college. I just don't think I had that kind of athletic talent. But I've always enjoyed watching those people that do. That is to say, it's fun to listen to Frank Sinatra even if you can't carry a tune.
You hold a PhD in chemistry, Dr. Jerry Buss. And you read a lot. You're an avid reader. So you must believe in education. What advice do you have for young people who are interested in sports? Do you give them advice about education?
What I try to do is to help them assess the realistic probability that they will ever make a living in professional sports. There are only 200 professional basketball players. And there are literally millions of children playing basketball, and probably a good 50,000 of them think that they will in fact be professionals. But in reality, only 200 will, and the odds against it are enormous. So my advice to them is that although it's obviously a career you want to pursue, and I wouldn't discourage you from it, why not also pursue an alternative career in case that doesn't work out?
You're very close to your children. You have 4 children, right?
Yes.
You're very close to them. Are they interested in sports?
Certainly I have encouraged all of my children along those lines. 2 of them are currently in the university. The other one went for a year or 2, lost interest, and is currently working here at the Forum in concerts.
How do they feel about having a dad who's a great big sports magnate?
Well, it's kind of fun. I could best typify that by explaining to you what my daughter said to me the other day. She said that since we're going to start World Team Tennis apparently again, only this time she will be the owner of the franchise because I'm tied up with the other things.
How old is she?
She's 19 now. She said, well, every time I go to the Forum and I have to go in the parking lot, I look at the man and I say, I'm Jerry Buss's daughter. And I drive on in. She says, how nice it will be next month when I can say, I'm Jeannie Buss, owner of the Los Angeles Strings.
That's terrific.
So
that's terrific.
The answer is they obviously enjoy it and are very, very much involved in it.
Would you like to own the Rams?
Well, I think that would be absolutely fantastic. I would very, very much like to own the Los Angeles Rams. And I don't mean to indicate by that statement that they are for sale or even that they should be for sale. I'm not implying anything at all, other than if they were for sale, I would very much like to buy them.
And if you can't own the Rams, what will you do?
I'll have to bide my time and just continue to want.
What's been the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome as a professional sports owner?
Well, I think the biggest problem in owning sports is the emotional drain when you suddenly realize that one of your athletes has to be traded, or sent to the minors, or in some cases outright cut. I've had to do that several times recently with a couple of hockey players that I was very fond of, and they did not want to leave Los Angeles. They did not want to no longer be a part of the Kings. We're on our way up. They were excited. They wanted to be a part of that. And to tell them that their abilities are not good enough to be part of it is probably one of the saddest, most emotional things I've ever been through. And I don't enjoy it. I'm sure I'll never get used to it.
You really do care about your players, don't you?
Yes, yes, I really do.
Tell me, what are all these crazy things on your table here?
This is the product of everyone's imagination attempting to buy a present for a man who has everything. Everybody says to me, well, what could I possibly give to you as a gift? So they use their imagination, like the teddy here. This I keep because everybody has down moments during the day. And whenever I get really down and start feeling bad about things aren't going right or whatever, then I take Teddy, who says to me,
you're on your way to the top.
I need one of those. That's terrific. Jerry, thank you so much for giving us your time, and I hope that you have all the luck with your teams this year and get everything you want.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm Pamela Caron. I hope you enjoyed our show and will join us again when we take a look at some of the most exciting people in the wonderful world of sports.